Senator Babet.
Thank you, Acting Deputy President. Obviously, I rise here in support of Senator Hanson's motion. I'd like to make a very short contribution to that motion. Look, I believe that our current immigration program is unsustainable. I also think that it's not in the national interest, and it is an economic and a cultural disaster. Now, Australia's always had a generous immigration program. It provides opportunity for people from all around the world. Heck, many of us in this room are migrants. My own family benefited from Australia's migration program and Australia's generosity. But a generous immigration program, it must be sustainable. And the record numbers of people being brought into our country, into Australia by the Albanese government is anything but sustainable. It's not even close, and we know why they're doing it. They're doing it to prop up the GDP because they are bad economic managers. It's a Bandaid on a bullet wound. That's what it is. Look, housing is in short supply. We all know that. It's being made more expensive as a direct result of mass immigration. Public infrastructure, it's overrun. Our major cities, they're clogged. Social cohesion, this is an important one, it's at an all-time low. Why? Because we insist on bringing people into Australia that are not culturally aligned with Australian values, and this is a huge mistake. It's a huge mistake, and we're going to pay for it down the line. Look, what good is a big Australia if the result is something other than Australia? What good is it? Worryingly, that seems to be the case. If the government believes that there's a skills shortage, as they like to say, then how about find ways to address this skills shortage without importing massive numbers of people in an unchecked way? Make our immigration policy finely tuned, finely targeted for exactly the people that we need. A sustainable program, a smarter program. It would enjoy much more public support, and that's important. That's a vital key. Importing record numbers of people via a haphazard process, it risks alienating mainstream Australia, which will in turn alienate those who arrive in our country. Look, when around 30% of people or thereabouts of Australians voted for the Labor Party at the last election, voted them into power, no one knew that Prime Minister Albanese and his team would bring in around 1 million people here within just a couple of years. No one knew. If they haven't already, the government runs the risk of losing support for immigration, full stop. This is terrible leadership. It's got to be addressed. It's got to be addressed. Enough is enough. To ensure sustainable and popular support for immigration, the current numbers just have to be cut, and they have to be cut drastically. In fact, I would support net zero immigration for a while. I would support that. Not to do so would undermine immigration itself, but worse than that, it would undermine Australia itself. That's what it would do. Now, for these reasons and a whole lot more, I wholeheartedly support Senator Hanson's motion, and I hope that many of you will. Possibly, you probably won't, because you don't have the kahunas, you don't have the backbone. And that's why you will continue to slide in the polls, and that's why parties like mine will continue to rise. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Babet.